What's up, everybody? This is John again from thecommanzo.com. Back again with another deck tech. I am going back through Animar. This is Animar Revisited, just because I have made quite a few changes to the deck. It is the deck that I work on the most, and I thought it'd be nice just to go through it again and show you what I have in it. So anyway, we'll start with the lands. The most important land in the deck is definitely Gaia's Cradle, and I have put 2 copies in the deck of, we have Gaia's Cradle and we have the copy of Gaia's Cradle Crop Rotation. I found that the deck does win quite often when Gaia's Cradle is out, and when Gaia's Cradle is not out, it is obviously more difficult to win. So I want to put as many copies in as possible, and Crop Rotation I was able to squeeze in somehow. So we have 2 of that, two Gaia's Cradles. After that we have the 3 duels. You gotta have those. After the duels, we have the shocks. Please don't look at the proxy steam vents. I'm working on it. Okay, they're just really expensive, damn modern. All of us EDH guys are pissed off at modern. But we got the fetches after that. I do play 8 fetches. I don't have a Windswept Heath, so I don't have the Windswept Heath in the deck. But if I did, it would be in there, and I'd probably get rid of one of the lands I'm about to show you next, which is the colorless mana-producing lands. In this deck, it is very important to produce colored mana, just because basically everything in the deck costs like 1 blue or 1 green once the deck gets rolling, and having a land that produces a colorless is very inefficient for what we're trying to do. So I've tried to cut down on the colorless mana as much as possible, and this is what I've left with. I'm going to probably get rid of some more, but for right now there are 4. One that has to stay is Strip Mine, for obvious reasons. Basically, it's there only to protect my Gaia's Cradle. I don't really care about my opponent's lands, except I want to be sure that I'm the only one with a Gaia's Cradle on board, just to make sure that I can continue my efficient run, I guess, and try and win on that turn. Ancient Tomb is good in the first 2 turns when my guys cost more than 1, but after when a 5-mana guy costs 1, Ancient Tomb doesn't really do too much, especially because he only produces colorless mana, and that's the problem. Homeward Path has its fringe uses when Animar is treachery or something like that, but other than that, it's really not that great. So it might come out, but the one that will probably come out is Riptide Lab. I don't have too many targets for Riptide Lab, and it's pretty slow, so I think it will probably come out. I really do not like having any of those lands in my opening hand, except for Ancient Tomb. So with that said, I will probably take those out as soon as I can find a replacement for them, which may just be a basic. I'm not sure yet. After that, we have some of the more kind of like duels, or whatever you want to call them, just other lands. I guess we have Flooded Grove, City of Brass, Minamo. Minamo's pretty good. I don't really get to use Minamo very much, but it will be good once you get to untap a legendary permanent, which is just my Animar. Reflecting Pool, Sulphur Falls, which should not be in the deck, but I don't have a replacement for it yet, so it will stay there until I get one. Command Tower, and then my 2 artifact lands, Tree of Tales and Seat of the Synod. Those 2 are very important. They do help with my Mox Opal, and they are fetches for a Trinket Mage if I do need to make a land drop on the turn. So they're pretty good. I don't run the red artifact land. They was a Great Furnace, simply because I only have 1 red spell in the deck, and that's Blood Red Elf. So let's go to the basics, which is why I only have 1 mountain. 1 red card, 1 mountain works out. I do have a lot of red sources though. Don't get me wrong. I have 1 mountain, many red sources, so I'm never without red mana, so it's fine. 3 basic forests, beautiful John Avon land right there, and 3 basic islands. Those are the lands. I believe there's 34. I will put a deck list up on my website, thecommanzo.com. You can check it out. I'm sure there'll be a link somewhere you'll be able to see. But those are the lands in the deck. We can go to the creatures now. This is a creature-based deck. There are, I believe, around 44 creatures in the deck. So we'll go over some of them real quick. We'll start with the Trinket Mage, because I spoke of him. So we have our Trinket Mage, and then we have targets for Trinket Mage, which are Skull Clamp. Skull Clamp is okay. There are some 1 toughness guys but it's just Skull Clamp, so we should keep it in the deck. You know, it's not broken or anything like. I don't run Bitter Blossom or anything like that, but it's a good card. We have the Forbidden Donut, Soul Ring. Thank you, Mark Teeden. We have Mana Crypt, and the usual suspect for my Trinket Mage is the Mana Crypt. I'm sorry, Mana Vault, Mana Crypt. So usually I'll get a Mana Crypt simply because it's free to cast, or I will sometimes also get a Mox Opal, which I'll show you in a second, and the Mox will come in my next set of cards that I have set aside here. So one of the big changes I've made with Animar is I've tried to squeeze in as many one-drop creatures that produce a colored mana to allow Animar to come out on turn 2. And I found that the best way to win is to get Animar out on turn 2, or as fast as possible. Keep him out on the board, and try and play just as many cantrips and as many spells as I can in one turn, and get a win with my 1 or 2 win cons that I do have in the deck. I have taken a lot of the infinite combo, actually all of the infinite combo. There's no infinite combo left in the deck, just because it's not very fun to use. So I tried to make this more of a synergy-based deck, which it is now, and I really do like it a lot. It's a lot of fun to play. And it's a very difficult deck to play also. It's not easy. So we'll go to those one-drop guys. We have Fyndhorn Elves, and the copy of Fyndhorn Elves, or copy of Llanowar Elves, whatever you want to call it. We have Birds of Paradise. We have Wild Cantor, which is nice. We have a new guy, Croson Wayfarer. He's pretty good. He allows for me to stick another land into play, so that's actually fairly relevant later on in the game when I do want to play that Guy's Cradle or just another land. He's very good. Tinderwall, another really good one, and he produces red, which is key. I do need to be able to produce red on turn 2 for Animar, and after that, kind of red's not really important. But we have the Spirit Guides, Simeon, and Elvish, and then we have the Mox, as I talked about earlier, and the Lotus Petal. As I'm saying this, I'm going to make 2 more changes to the deck probably soon, and they are Void Mage Husher and Gilded Drake. Definitely Gilded Drake is coming out. He's probably going to come out for a Mox Diamond, just because I want more ways to get Animar out on turn 2. So Gilded Drake, yes, he is very, very powerful, but he doesn't really fit with the synergies of the deck. As you'll be able to tell, he's kind of like the odd man out. I thought Void Mage Husher was good. He is very good because he does counter an activated ability. However, I think I'd rather have maybe like a Crow Mox or something like that. We'll figure it out. But definitely the Gilded Drake, although extremely powerful, is going to come out for something else, and it's most likely going to be a Mox Diamond. Okay, so why don't we go to some of the just utility guys. We'll start off with a Phyrexian Revoker. He's pretty good. He shuts down generals. He shuts down planeswalkers. He's actually not that bad, and he's usually for free. And he comes out real early, so he does a lot of good stuff when he does come out. Sir-Kura Tribe Elder, it's just for a little ramp. Wood Elves for a little ramp. Oracle for some more ramp. Solemn, more ramp, obviously. And then we get the only red spell in the deck, Bloodbraid Elf. He's a very efficient creature. A lot of the deck is under 3, so he will bring something out, and usually it's pretty good. And if it's another creature, then I get to cast 2 creatures off of Bloodbraid Elf, so I get 2 more counters on Animar. He's really good. Bloodbraid Elf is really good. I had him in and out of the deck previously, but I like him, and he's staying in the deck. So anyway, a couple more creatures here. Snapcaster Mage. Snapcaster Mage doesn't really do a whole lot in this deck, just because I don't have that many instants and sorceries. But I do have some very powerful ones that I have to use, and I have to do cast, and they have to be cast and not countered. So he will rebuy a Glimpse of Nature or Force of Will or something like that, and we'll talk about those in a couple seconds after I finish the creatures here. So we have E-Witness, just obviously rebuy something. Fierce Empath, very good card. I do have a lot of big creatures in this deck, and a lot of them are necessary for my synergy to work. So Fierce Empath really allows me to get some of those creatures, and I'll show you them in a couple minutes. So we have Consecrated Sphinx, all around powerful guy. He should just be in every deck that has blue in it, obviously. Primeval Titan, of course. He's not that good in this deck, but he's still Primeval Titan. And one of my only removal spells, Indrik Stomphowler. I had to put one in the fashion of a creature, just because if it's not a creature, it's not efficient. I'd rather pay 1 mana to destroy an artifact or enchantment than 3 for a Corrosive Grip or something like that in this deck. In this deck only. In other decks, obviously, Corrosive Grip is much better, but in this deck, I think the Stomp Howler is pretty good because he has other synergies in the deck. But anyway, I have a small Treasure Mage package. We'll look at that. So Treasure Mage is not very good, but he fetches a Mere Battle Sphere and, most importantly, a Duplicate. The Duplicate is a very, very good card in this deck. It's one of my only ways to alleviate threats that my opponents have, or generals, or whatever, so that I can get Animar through for a win, or something like that. Usually Duplicate comes out very quickly, and with Treasure Mage backing him, or fetching for him, with all the rest of my creatures that either bounce, or untap, or something like that, or copy, I can usually rebuy Duplicate over and over again to kind of get rid of the big threat that I'm faced with. After that, we have two more colorless guys: Artisan of Kozilek and Butcher of Kozilek. Or I'm sorry, Butcher of Truth, Kozilek, Butcher of Truth. Kozilek is there to draw cards only. Basically, like I said, I'm not going to really win with creatures. I have one win con in the deck, and I just did it like that for fun, really. But Kozilek is good. He draws me more cards. Artisan is good. He rebuys something that dies, and they usually come out for free or for 1 or 2 mana. So how can you say no? So after that, we'll get to the more important creatures, or the most important creatures in the deck, the ones that allow my world to turn, which are the copy, the bounce, and the untap creatures and spells, I should say, because I have more than a couple. So we have Shrieking Drake. He's very good. He bounces, whatever. He's just a bounce spell. Manowar, another bounce spell. I didn't put any of the two blue mana costing creatures like Ether Adept, just because 2 blue is much more difficult to cast than 1 blue in this deck. So anything with 2 colors in their casting costs are reserved for very good creatures, because I have to be efficient. So we have some clone effects. So there are basically 6 bounce creatures. We have Phantasmal Image, Metamorph, who usually comes out for free. We have Clone, and we have Vesuvian Shapeshifter. Shapeshifter is very good. He allows me to rebuy spells every turn, so he's really important. And then we got the untap effects, and there are basically 6 just because of my copy spells. We have Cloud of Fairies, untaps 2 land. Peregrine Drake, untaps 5. And Great Whale, untaps 7. So like I said, I took out all the Infi combo. So Palancron's not here. Tides Bound Tyrant's not here. Cloudstone Curio's not here. They're all gone. And I just wanted to make the deck more fun. It's still a really good deck. It can win very quickly. It does snowball out on itself. It kind of storms out. Where it looks like I have 5 land on the board or 4 land on the board, but all of a sudden I can basically draw out my whole deck. So really important. These guys are really important to let me continue my efficiency for the turn. So more untap effects. We have Snap and Frantic Search, and those are just good because they will untap my Guy's Cradle or whatever I need. Snap is very good card. Very underrated. Snap is really good. Next is my draw suite, and these are spells and creatures. And we'll start with the creatures first. Mold Drifter, no introduction, whatever, it's fine. Pack Leader, I'm on the fence about him, but I do have 14, I believe, creatures with power 4 or greater, so he is pretty good. We have Primordial Sage, so whenever I play a creature, I draw a spell or I draw a card. And then his partner in crime, he just came out in Avacyn Restored. I don't know his name. It's in Japanese. Actually, I live in Japan now, so I have a lot of Japanese cards, or I'm starting to purchase a lot of Japanese cards. And I could read it to you in Japanese, but it wouldn't really make a difference. So anyway, that's Primordial Sage's little buddy. And then one of the most important creatures, Tomorrow. Tomorrow allows for a lot of shenanigans to happen. There are 44 guys in the deck. And if I play a Glimpse, or if I have one of these 3 guys out, I will usually be able to continuously draw my deck with Tomorrow, because I do get to see 3 cards. So he's very important. Anyway, and here are a couple more draw spells. Brainstorm goes very well with Tomorrow. And 2 new additions to the deck. We have Manamorphose. The reason to play Manamorphose is because when I'm trying to win, I usually play Guy's Cradle. And I tap Guy's Cradle, and I make a lot of green mana. However, I usually need blue mana. So what better way to convert green to blue and draw a card for free? Manamorphose. And I'm pretty happy with his overall interaction in the deck. He's pretty good. He gets me out of little binds when I do need to draw more cards. So Manamorphose is pretty good. The next new addition is Gitaxian Probe. Slightly underwhelming. Slightly. Not completely underwhelming, but slightly. However, it does draw me a card. It is free. It helps with my storm count. And it allows me to peek into my opponent's hands to see if they have any kind of counter magic or removal that will stop me from winning that turn. So, Gitaxian Probe is pretty important. Obviously it's one of those cards where you just don't play it on turn 1 or turn 2. You kind of, save it until you need it to win. But anyway, the last draw spell, Glimpse of Nature, makes my world turn. Glimpse of Nature is really good. If I have Glimpse of Nature, I can usually win, or I'll play it on the turn where I think I can win. And if I'm able to draw a card per creature, then usually you can do fairly well. So we'll get out of there, and we'll go to a couple tutors. We have Mystical Tutor, which usually fetches the Glimpse of Nature we just talked about, and we have Worldly Tutor to get one of my creature spells that I need in order to kind of win the game. After that, we have just some randoms here for you. We have one counterspell, and it's Force of Will. The best counterspell, so you might as well have it because it's free. A little bit of deck manipulation. We have Top, and we have Sylvan Library. After that, we have one more bounce effect, which is Crystal Shard. Crystal Shard is really good. There is another one that's just cost 4 and 1 colorless to bounce a creature. I forgot the name of that one, but I think Crystal Shard's a little better because I can play it with a Mana Vault or whatever, and it costs 1 less, so it's pretty good. After that, we have Birthing Pod. He allows for me to get one of my guys that untaps or one of my clones to, copy a guy that untaps or copy a guy that draws cards. So Birthing Pod is actually really good. And last one, you have to have it in a creature-based deck. Survival of the Fittest. Very nice. Thank you, Pete Vendors. I really like this. If you're watching this, Pete, really cool art. I enjoy it. Last on my list are the 2 win cons. One is an old win con, and the second is my new win con. My old win con was Concordant Crossroads. I would kind of just try as best as I could to cast my whole deck, play Concordant Crossroads, and swing with a bunch of 1/1s for the win. That wasn't very fun. So, my new and most favorite win con is Temporal Motherfucking Fisher. Alright? Temporal Fisher is the noodles. It's really, really good. It's a lot of fun to play. It pisses everyone off when you take a turn by yourself for 15 minutes, and then they say, well, what are you going to do? And I'm going to Temporal Fisher everyone's boards back. You want to keep playing? So, the whole deck is now just drawing and drawing and drawing into a Temporal Fisher, and then pissing everyone off with the Temporal Fisher. So that's a lot of fun. That is my win con in the deck. My 2 win cons. Or Animar, the deck also beats fairly well, too, with Animar. He becomes like a 6/6, 7/7 very quickly, maybe turn 4 or something. He's already like a 5/5, 6/6. And most decks are black and white, so he usually gets in there for a lot of damage. Other than that, that's the deck. It's really a lot of fun to play. It does very well. It is susceptible to counter magic, but when you have a deck as aggressive as this one, it's going to be kind of susceptible to that kind of thing. However, I really like it. I think it's a lot of fun to play. It is a very difficult deck to play, and if you're the kind of person that wants to learn how to, I guess, tap your mana correctly, or if you have a problem with that, you find yourself always tapping mana incorrectly, and not as efficiently as you should, this is definitely the kind of deck that you want to build for EDH, because you really have to learn how to tap your mana efficiently so that you don't run out of mana before you can complete, whatever you're trying to do on that turn. So this deck is really fun to play, and it is kind of a storm, kind of snowball effect type deck with lots of synergy. If you're interested in this, I'll have my list up on my website. Please feel free to comment if you think some cards should come out or go in or whatever it is. And yeah, I'm always interested in hearing your comments and everything. So thank you very much. This is John from Japan. I'm gonna try and get some videos out. Oh, I got one more thing to show you here. This is gonna come out soon. My cube. So I've been playing with the cube a lot. It's really a lot of fun. I'm gonna do a little tech of this later on if you are looking to build a cube. Anyway, so here's the cube. I'm gonna try and get Grizzlebrand out. My deck tech of Grizzlebrand. He's pretty good. Nice Storm combo deck as well in Grizzlebrand mono black. We'll get that out to you hopefully by the end of this week, maybe next week. And yeah, so have a good time. Please come to my website, thecommandZone.com. Check out everything I have. Okay, thank you.